Hi, I'm Norman Lock, and I'll be reading a short chapter from The Caricaturist, a novel which was published by Bellevue Literary Press in July of 2024. To orient you, I'll read the back cover copy. Oliver Fisher, a self-styled bohemian, boardwalk caricaturist and student of the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, enrages his banker father and earns the contempt of Philadelphia's foremost realist painter Thomas Eakins when he attempts to stage Manet's scandalous painting The Luncheon on the Grass. Soon after, he is ensnarled, along with Mark Twain and Andrew Carnegie, in a clash between the Anti-Imperialist League and their expansionist foe. Sent to Key West to sketch the 1898 American invasion of Cuba in company with war correspondent Stephen Crane, he realizes in the flash of a naval bombardment that our lives are suspended by a thread between radiance and annihilation. The Caricaturist, the 11th standalone book in the American novel series, is a tragicomic portrait of America struggling to honor its most cherished ideals at the dawn of the 20th century, as are we now in our century, in the year 2025. Oliver Fisher's father is a very straight-laced, stiff-necked German who is based on my paternal great-grandfather, and he's not been supportive of all of his son Ollie Fisher's aspirations to be an artist. Now, Ollie is not a good artist, nor is he really a serious one. He's more interested in the bohemian lifestyle. But they come to loggerheads in this brief chapter when the father wakes Ollie in Ollie's room in downtown Philadelphia, close by the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts. Had my father not knocked at my attic door, little, if anything, of what was to follow would have occurred. His unannounced, unprecedented visit caused a stir in me that swelled into a running tide that swept me out to sea, and, its molecules having spent themselves, deposited me on Cuba's shore, green and pleasant, except for a fusillade of Mauser bullets that had been waiting for me, as well as Robert Pearson and Stephen Crane. Father, my tone was that of astonished inquiry. What brings you here at this ungodly hour? I think that I gaped at him. I know that he gaped at me, having answered his peremptory knock wearing a tatty blanket and my Persian slippers. He looked at my slippers, at the garish rug behind me, and at my face, which would have struck him as belonging to some other man's dissipated son who had squandered the family fortune, sold off its heirlooms, and tarnished its name beyond the power of any patent polish to remove. He leaned toward me and sniffed my breath cautiously, as one would a suspicious substance clotted at the bottom of a jar. Involuntarily his head shot back, and his nose wrinkled in response to the obvious distaste of its owner. I'd have thought that the man who adores Stilton cheese would have been inward. You've been drinking. No, I haven't. I was chewing on a caraway seed. You don't fool me, Oliver. I know what tricks you loafers get up to. I'm not all that much of a loafer, Father, and it's damn sans-gene of you to drop in unannounced. You're a spoiled idler, and I'm here at this ungodly hour when responsible men are already about their affairs to put my foot down once and for all. He had put his foot down many times during my unhappy career as his son. I was used to it, so I waited without any high expectations of hearing something new. Put on some clothes, for God's sake. I went into the corner and dressed. I left the ascot and yellow socks for another day. I washed my face, brushed my hair, and bit into an apple to clean my teeth. Looking sideways at him, his safest vantage in my experience, I saw him peering through his wireframes at my drawings. I detest caricatures, he snarled. They're potshots taking good men by inferior ones. McKinley is a fine president. Mayor Warnock sits on the board of the Western Savings Bank. He'd have crossed himself. He had despised Roman Catholics. I grant you that Roosevelt is a muckraking prick. He pointed to my drawing of the gin bottle. Who's this supposed to be? God. I gave the word no special emphasis or inflection. Neither he nor Charles should have taken exception. He turned to me, his specs glinting with animus. God, what do you mean by God? Him. I pointed at the ceiling, the divine being who thunders in the organ loft and whispers in your ear when to buy low and sell high to plump up your portfolio. His fist sent me flying. My father's a small man. Even in his derby, he stands level with my chin, which was bleeding from a cut incised by his Masonic ring. I washed my face and then, turning from the basin, flashed him an insolent grin. Enraged, he tore the drawings to shreds. Leaning against the windowsill, I took a Turkish cigarette from the box and began to smoke. His face turned a shade of red, so that I could not have mixed with pigments. I need a drop or two of blood. Watching him grow apoplectic, I was in high hopes that he would drop down dead on my carpet, but he only sat down heavily on a coal box. I tossed the cigarette out the window. What is it you came to say, Father? Sitting on the box, his derby askew, he reminded me of the hatted dog, soused to the ears, painted on Doolittle's barroom wall. Oliver, I have come to the conclusion that you are not cut out to be an artist. Those hateful caricatures only confirm my low estimation of your abilities. There's nothing shameful in attempting a profession and, having failed, finding another more suitable. I gave you your head. I let you sow a young man's wild oats, but the time has come to take stock. You will finish out the term and then take a situation in the bank. It's an excellent one, and as your responsibilities grow, so will your wages, and with them the opportunity to set up a household of your own. I look forward to seeing you married one day, so long as the girl is not a Catholic. I presume you take no notice of colored girls. The shock would kill your mother, and I, Oliver, would kill you. He got up, straightened his hat, tie, brushed his trousers with his hands, polished his shoes on the back of his trouser legs, and said, You have until the end of term. Refuse, and I will cut you off without a cent. He walked out the door like a villain in a melodrama. It was then I went off the rails. And to resume, much later in the book, after Oliver has suffered many misadventures, he finally finds himself at 6s and 7s out of work, and he must go and beg work from his father. I saw my father before he noticed me. His head was bowed to a ledger, his thinning gray hair precisely combed. His sleeve protectors were unspotted, as though serving only an ornamental function. The black hair growing on the backs of his fingers never failed to surprise me by its luxuriance. His mustache, strictly trimmed, might have been an index to his mind's severity. I rapped on the open door to his office. His head shot up and swiveled toward the disturbance in that marble memorial to the industry and single-mindedness of men like him. His face paled. I thought I saw a momentary shiver pass through his body. Maybe not. Many times we see what we wish, not what we ought to expect. He glared while I looked penitent. What did I expect? That he'd embrace the prodigal and order a fatted calf to be butchered and barbecued on the lobby floor. How are you, Father? I asked, knowing the first move was mine to make. As you can see, busy. Have you come to open an account? I've come to beg you, shit. Can't you see even that far into your own flesh and blood? I thought. Our rates are highly competitive, he said, as if I were a stranger facing him across a desk at which he had not invited me to sit. As an afterthought, he added, "We never gamble or take risks." That remark, I knew, was meant for me. He had wiped his hands of his only son the moment he had left the back shed without a backward glance at me. I said what I had come to say. "You once offered me a job. I'd like to be considered for it." In its inhuman squawk, his chair expressed his ill will. He did not need to say more, but he could not stop himself from racking me. "Have you any experience working in a bank? Have you ever so much as been inside one until now?" He did not expect a reply. "Do you have a head for figures?" He leaned forward and leered. "I'm not referring to a woman's shape that recently you may have seen on shameless display. I have an idea what you idlers get up to. Do you see that young man over there, the one wearing the green eye shade?" "Yes." "Wonderful hand, the hand of an artist. He's my new assistant. Came to me highly recommended by C.C. Harrison and Company. Every day he shows me his worth, and every evening I thank God for leading him to the Western Savings Bank. He will go far. Maybe one day he will sit where I'm sitting now. Now, as I understand it, you wish to take his place. You came here expecting me to sack him. What reason can I give him? That I found someone better qualified? Are you better qualified? Or that I found somebody with more zeal? Are you more zealous than he is? No. Jobs are hard to come by in this depression. Business has been slow to revive since the panic. Was it your idea in coming to see me that I should put that young man out on the street?" "Why, he has a wife and child." "Do you have a wife, a child, or any other person who depends on you for sustenance?" "No," I replied, speaking to the floor, on which my downcast gaze hid its shame from the lowercase almighty. "Well, then you see how things stand. There's no place for you here, that is, unless you would care for the position of janitor, which happens to be open. Have you any experience in sweeping floors and scrubbing toilet bowls?" I saw how things stood. I turned and headed for the door. I hadn't gone so very far, no more than 30 paces. The hair on my neck stood up. My neck prickled. My spine felt like a swag of chain. He may not have had his eyes on me. More likely he'd turned his back on his wayward son. But how my backbone burned. Thank you.